What is up, guys? Welcome to Loveshack Entertainment, and today we're going to do a deck profile video, and it is actually a Monarch deck profile video. So, a little while ago, I actually uploaded the Emperor of Darkness structure deck opening, so we sleeved up some good cards, took a good look at the deck as a whole. But as I said, there was a deck profile video coming for it, so I will preface this with the fact that there are two proxies in this deck, and that would be Kuraz, the Light Monarch. That proxy is represented by Illusory Snatcher, so if you see this, or you're maybe watching it on mute, and you see Illusory Snatcher, it is not in the deck. That's just a proxy for Kuraz. So, let's go ahead and jump right into this, and what I think may end up being one of the potentially definitely a meta deck that could compete with Pepe and Cosmo and decks like that. So we start with triple Ether, the Heavenly Monarch. So essentially, when it's tribute summoned, which you can do by tributing only one tribute summon monster, when it's tribute summoned, you mill 2 Monarch spell or trap cards from your deck with different names, and then special summon any monster from your deck with 2,400 or more attack and exactly 1,000 defense. So essentially, you can bring out any Monarch from the deck, which includes cards like Delg and Kuraz, who can then trigger their effects. Plus, if it's in your graveyard during your if it's in your hand during your opponent's main phase, you can banish a Monarch spell or trap card from your graveyard and immediately tribute summon it during your opponent's turn. It's an amazing card and an absolutely necessary 3-of. The other 3-of there, the big guy, is Erebos, the Underworld Monarch. So same conditions as the other one as far as how you can tribute summon it. When it is tribute summoned, you mill 2 Monarch spell or traps with different names from your deck. Target 1 card on your opponent's hand, field, or graveyard, shuffle it into the deck. If you do the hand, it's at random. During either player's main phase, if it's in your graveyard, you can pitch a Monarch spell or trap. If you do, you can target a monster in your graveyard with 2,400 or more attack and exactly 1,000 defense and add it to your hand. And I would imagine that includes Erebos himself, which means you can do plays where you're able to get Ether into your hand during your opponent's turn and summon it. So really good plays, definitely 3-of for each one. And then for the smaller ones, 3 Eidos, the Underworld Squire. So when this card is normal or special summoned during that main phase, you can tribute summon a monster in addition to your normal summoner set. So you can either go ahead and tribute summon another monster, then tribute both to bring out one of the big guys, or if you're, for some reason playing a different variant in the build, you still get your additional normal summon, and then you can tribute summon on top of it. Plus, if he's in the graveyard, you can banish him from your graveyard, target one other underworld monster, like a Monarch with 800 attack and 1,000 defense in your graveyard, and then you can special summon in a defense position. So you can use both effects each once per turn, and obviously I could see why that would be a really good card during your opponent's turn. Idea, the Heavenly Squire, when this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon basically one of the Monarchs, but I mean one monster with 800 attack and 1,000 defense from your deck in defense position. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one banished Monarch spell or trap card, add it to your hand. So this combos incredibly well with the big guys, not to mention basically being a tour guide for the smaller Monarchs, makes it great in and of itself. 2 Max C, like I've said before, the meta is just really like special summon heavy right now, so it's still worth it to be able to pitch your stuff and get plays, which will, extend your plays on top of that. 2 Kuraz, the Light Monarch. So like I said, this Illusory Snatcher is just a proxy, so don't go crazy. Kuraz is the level 6 light monster that when it's summoned, you can pop 2 cards on the field, on either player's side of the field, and then the player whose cards were destroyed draws 1 card for each card that is destroyed, and then Kuraz cannot attack that turn. But the cool thing about Kuraz is you can bring him back from the graveyard with stuff. You can also special summon him with the effect of Ether. I'm going to take me a little while to get that name right. So there's a lot of different plays you can do. So you could hit your opponent's stuff if you wanted to, but also you can hit your own stuff and draw off as he gets some extra pluses. And then for the 1-ofs, 1 Land Robe, the Rock Vessel. I'm aware a lot of decks don't main this, but it feels like the TCG is about to see a major surge in terms of people playing Fog King. So I think this is going to be a cool out to Fog King. You can special summon it from your hand by flipping 1 face-up monster your opponent controls into face-down defense position. So basically this gets over Fog King, and then you can tribute summon. If he is tributed for tribute summon, you can target 1 monster with 800 attack and 1,000 defense in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So he can surge back some of your other pieces, not to mention just being an out to things that are going to slow you down. And then 1 Caius, the Mega Monarch. So this is another one of the Mega Monarchs. Same thing as far as how you can tribute summon it. If you tribute summon a dark monster, if you tribute summon it by tribute summoning a dark monster, you can banish up to 2 cards on the field. No, guys, I'm sorry. I'm misreading this entirely. Let's take a look at it together. If it's tribute summon, you can target 1 card on the field, banish it, and if you do, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. Then, if it is a dark monster, banish all cards with that name from the hand, main deck, extra deck, or graveyard. If the card tribute summon was a dark monster, you can target 2 cards instead. So this is awesome against all sorts of things, especially when BA was a thing, because you'd like hit a Scarm and then you hit all the ones in the deck. But it's still a great monster in terms of just being able to outscales and out other things, because it can hit any card on the field. So the burn damage plus being able to outplays is definitely worth it, and you can bring it out by a number of different means in the deck. Alright, so that should be a little bit less ridiculous now that I know what I'm doing. So 3 Pantheism, we talked about this in the other one. It's standard. It's pitch a Monarch, spell a trap, draw 2 cards, and then banish it from your graveyard, and you can pick 3 at random from the deck. Your opponent picks 1, you get it to your hand. So just all around amazing, no reason not to play it. Triple Monarch Stormfort, this is basically like Soul Exchange, but better. You don't even play an extra deck in this, so basically you could just do all sorts of shenanigans. Not to mention, this does work with Ether, which you can use during your opponent's turn. This is a quick play, so it's just an amazing card overall. No reason not to use it. Triple Domain of the True Monarchs, just a field spell. This is the one that if you have no cards in your extra deck and you're the only player that controls a tribute summon monster, your opponent cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. So this absolutely shuts down Pepe. And because they don't play a lot of monsters they can even tribute summon, they have to rely on stuff like Twin Twister and whatnot to get over this. If a tribute summon monster attacks an opponent's monster, it gains 800 attack during damage calculation. So that's just a little bit of an extra boost, but it's definitely not bad. And then once per turn, you can reduce the level of one monster with 2800 attack and 1000 defense in your hand by 2 until the end of the turn. So this makes it so you can bring out one of your big guys without having to tribute 2 monsters, which is just a really, really powerful effect, especially like in mid-game. And then Tenacity of the Monarchs. This one allows you to reveal a monster in your hand with 2400 attack and defense, or 2800 attack and 1000 defense, and add 1 Monarch spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. So it can't search itself, but it essentially can search anything else in the deck. It's a Rhoda for the Monarch spell and trap cards, and it's really powerful. 2 Twin Twister, like half your stuff wants to be engraved, so there's no reason not to play this. And not to mention, it just outs a lot of stuff. And then 1 MST. I referenced a build from the OCG when I initially put this together, and they were playing Harpy's Feather Duster, but obviously we don't have that here. So I figured the 1 MST is just an out in case you don't want to pitch stuff from your hand. But usually Twinster is just going to be a lot better at doing that. And then we have 1 Reinforcement of the Army to search out your idea. There's no reason, again, not to play it. You get idea. You can just speed up by setting combo plays off. 1 Soul Charge. I'm basically playing this in place of Reinforced Truth because I don't have any at the moment. It's not a terrible card, though, in the sense that it does set up your ability to make plays. But what hurts you is the fact that you miss your battle phase, and so you can't really capitalize on a lot of the damage that you do. Return of the Monarchs. This is one of as well. This card, when you tribute summon a monster, you can either add a Monarch with 2400 attack and 1000 defense from your deck to your hand, or 2800 attack and 1000 defense. So basically, you bring out a monster, you search another one, you don't lose the hand advantage, and you're able to keep your plays going consistently. And then for traps, Triple Prime Monarch. Once per turn, you can target 2 Monarch spell or trap cards in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, then draw 1 card. So it's good, like a Jar of Aberration style effect. And then if it's in your graveyard, you can banish 1 other Monarch spell or trap, special summon it from your graveyard as a normal monster, and essentially it's also a Monarch, so you can tribute it and do all sorts of things with it. So really good 3 of, and it's really all you need for traps. And then 1 Escalation of the Monarchs. This is Ultimate Offering, essentially, but you can use it during your opponent's main phase or battle phase. You can immediately tribute summon 1 monster after it resolves. So it's a once per turn thing, but it's definitely a good way to bring out some stuff. So yeah, pretty much that's the deck, and I mean, it's really easy to play. Caius is probably the most expensive. I think it's like 15, and then, you know, the Kurazes are like 6 to 10, but if you buy 3 structure decks and are willing to, you know, pay the $25 for the singles and pick up the Max Cs, it's a really cheap deck, and I think it's going to be really competitive. So I'm pretty excited to see what kind of things I can do with this deck and what kind of like presence it's going to have in the meta overall, and what other ideas people come up with. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll remind you, if you did enjoy it, please give us a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and we'll see you next time right here at Loveshack Entertainment.